Stop, don't scroll. There is a record that was just made in heaven about what you endured in silence this week, and I was sent to deliver you the exact answer. The heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon did not happen by chance. You are just going about your day, and suddenly the physical weight on your shoulders becomes so intense that no doctor can explain it. Your soul feels exposed. Your sleep is perturbed by the sound of a clock ticking while you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. It is a physical manifestation of a spiritual attack, draining your strength precisely when you need it most. Because of this, good decisions start feeling wrong. Opportunities you fought for seem to unravel right before your eyes. You feel an exhaustion so heavy that you consider giving up on the very thing you prayed for. It is the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom, avoiding the very people and situations that are tied to your breakthrough. You look at your life and feel a paralyzing doubt, whispering that you misunderstood God's voice all along. And your house absorbs these arrows. You experience sudden irrational conflicts in your home right as a breakthrough is about to manifest. The dinner table, meant for peace, becomes a battleground of heavy sighs and unspoken tension. Your children feel the shift, absorbing the unseen friction. A sudden argument over nothing at the dinner table leaves everyone drained, creating an atmosphere where the blessing feels too heavy to carry. But this is not just stress, and this is not just anxiety. By the end of this message, you will comprehend the exact mechanism of this invisible envy. You will understand why the spiritual interception of divine timing operates so violently against those who carry a mark of God. You will finally see why the enemy is trying to abort the appointment right before the clock strikes, and why this heavy waiting is actually a sign of a massive celestial shift. More than understanding, you will receive the exact, actionable tool of coverage that you can execute today. A defense mechanism that intercepts the saboteur before he can bleed out your anticipation. I will show you how to shield this exact week and seal the celestial date that was written for you. This is not about enduring more pain. It is about establishing a perimeter of spiritual authority over your timeline. And before we close, there will be a declaration, a definitive seal over your life that breaks this cycle of exhaustion. We will establish a mandate that the enemy cannot cross. If you feel the weight of this, please stay until the very end. Do not break the line before the decree is fully established over your house. Have you ever felt that this heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon that is happening right now is not just human, but spiritual? And what if this heavy waiting is a sign that there is a battle against the exact timing God placed over your life? While many try to explain this as just physical stress or anxiety, few realize that the enemy is not attacking you for what you did, but for the date that God is about to fulfill in your life. But what if the true reason for this heavy, unexplainable fatigue is exactly tied to the celestial appointment you haven't been able to see yet? Now think with me. What if everything you have endured up to today, the heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon, the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom, is the answer to the question you have carried in silence for years? Why is it always so hard right before I win? It was while seeking answers to this that I found this digital book called The 7 Spiritual Reasons Why the Chosen Ones Face So Much Envy. This book is not just reading, it is a key of spiritual understanding. A tool made for those who want to see beyond appearances, to stop aborting their breakthroughs at the 11th hour, and to understand why the spiritual interception of divine timing operates so violently against those who carry a mark of God. Several chosen ones here on this channel have already felt the call of the spiritual shield, but haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But beware, this content might not remain available for long. It reveals spiritual reasons that many prefer to ignore, because they expose what exists behind the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom, the heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon, and the sound of a clock ticking while you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Do not wait for this silent abortion of your breakthrough to seek what you already feel you need to understand. Click now, download your copy, and find out why the spiritual interception of divine timing could not stop what God started in you. And if you're among the first to download, come back here and leave it written. Amen. This will be your act of faith. And today, God might show you the reason why this silent abortion of your breakthrough operates against your life. There is a secret place, a shadow where this exhaustion cannot reach you, a covering that acts like wings over your timeline, intercepting the arrows of sabotage before they touch your home. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But this shadow requires your alignment. It requires you to recognize the battle and step into the architecture of defense that was designed for your exact date of fulfillment. If you recognize this heavy fatigue, type in the comments right now, "My timing is sealed." This is not a request for engagement. This is a public declaration in the spiritual realm that you are no longer accepting this 11th hour ambush as normal. Type it right now, because every time a chosen one identifies the tactic of the enemy, the sabotage begins to lose its power over their timeline. My timing is sealed. And about exactly this, about the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom, about the heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon, about the sound of a clock ticking while you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m., there is a 3-minute seal that fits exactly into the very next morning when you wake up feeling that heavy, unexplainable urge to quit, and I will show it to you later on. Tuck it away in the back of your mind. And beyond our digital guide, Chosen One, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived at your house today, and to make it reach more and more chosen ones like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book, in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to. This is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another person who needs it, exactly the way you need it today. I'll see you there, Chosen One, and if you need to leave before the end of this video, this shield is already waiting for you in the first pinned comment, right down below. But I ask you to stay until the end, because without the context that comes next, the seal does not work with the same force over this celestial date that is arriving for you. But listen to me carefully, because I still haven't told you the most important thing. The exhaustion you feel is not the real weapon, it is just the symptom. There is a precise tactic being deployed against you right now, and if you don't see it, you will drop the blessing at the doorstep. Stay, because the true name of what is intercepting your breakthrough hasn't been spoken yet. Close your eyes for a second, or at least look away from the screen right now. If you are driving, just listen to the cadence of what I am about to say and let the weight of these words settle over your mind. You did not click on this message because you were simply curious. You were drawn here because the spiritual atmosphere around you has grown incredibly tense over the last few days, and your soul is demanding an explanation for this invisible resistance. I am going to describe 5 things to you. These are not random events, but precise tactical strikes aimed at your celestial timeline. Do not try to rationalize them. Just listen to the pattern of what has been happening inside your mind and inside your home. If I am right about at least 3 of them, you and I will know exactly why you stopped here today. The first sign hits you right when you are supposed to be moving forward. It is the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom, avoiding the very people and situations that are tied to your breakthrough. You look at your schedule, and a paralyzing doubt whispers that you misunderstood God's voice all along. This is not social anxiety or a need for rest. It is a spiritual interception of your divine timing, designed to make you step back exactly when the gate of your celestial appointment is finally about to open. The second sign attacks your physical endurance precisely when there is no logical reason for it. It is the heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon, pulling you down like a literal weight. You haven't done anything physically exhausting, yet you feel an exhaustion so heavy that you consider giving up on the very thing you prayed for. The envious one knows he cannot erase the date written in heaven, so he attacks your stamina, aiming to put you to sleep in the waiting room right before your flight is called. The third sign strikes the perimeter, where you are supposed to feel the safest. You experience sudden, irrational conflicts in your home, right as a breakthrough is about to manifest. A normal Friday night pizza with the family gets interrupted by a sudden, heavy silence, or an argument over absolutely nothing erupts at the dinner table. This friction is not because your family is failing. It is because the enemy is weaponizing the atmosphere of your house, trying to create an emotional distraction so intense that you miss the exact timing of your transition. And about that moment, you sit on the edge of your bed, feeling an irrational urge to surrender. I have already left the shield waiting in the first pinned comment. If you must leave, it is there, but stay. The name of what is happening hasn't been spoken yet. The fourth sign is a silent oppression that settles over you when you are completely alone. It is the physical weight on your shoulders that no doctor can explain, a heavy sigh you let out while driving by yourself, waiting for a shift that feels delayed. You look at your life and wonder why it is always so hard right before you win. This invisible burden is the 11th hour sabotage attempting to bleed out your anticipation, making the blessing feel like a punishment just days before the decree is scheduled to manifest. The fifth sign disrupts your peace when the rest of the world is quiet. It is the sound of a clock ticking while you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m., your mind racing with scenarios of failure and delay. While you try to sleep, the saboteur is whispering that the timeline is cancelled, trying to blindfold your spiritual sight. This nocturnal warfare is a desperate attempt to exhaust the timekeeper of the decree, ensuring that the very next morning, you wake up feeling that heavy, unexplainable urge to quit. Now take a second. How many of these 5 matched? 3? 4? 5? If at least 3 matched, you already know that this message is for you. The sudden isolation, the heavy fatigue, the irrational conflicts, they are all interconnected symptoms of the same spiritual confrontation. You are not losing your mind, and you did not mishear the voice of God. You are simply walking through a highly contested zone, a narrow corridor of time right before the exact fixed celestial appointment is delivered into your hands. But you cannot walk through this corridor completely exposed. There is a spiritual architecture of defense that must be activated over your mind and your home. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This shadow is not a poetic metaphor. It is a literal, tactical shield designed to cover your specific date of fulfillment. By the time this video ends, you will understand exactly how to inhabit that secret place and neutralize this 11th hour ambush. Have you ever considered that the intense pressure you are facing right now is actually the strongest confirmation that your celestial date is arriving this week? What if everything you are enduring, the irrational doubts, the heavy waiting, the sudden urge to surrender, is not a sign of your weakness, but a sign of the enemy's desperation? They are trying to sabotage your timeline because they know they cannot stop the decree itself. They are attacking your endurance precisely because your breakthrough is no longer a distant promise. It is an imminent, scheduled reality. Before I show you the instrument of coverage that will shield the celestial appointment God has for you, I need to give you the name of what you carry, because the shield only makes sense after you know the exact name of the target. And there is a word in ancient Hebrew that defines exactly this appointed time of fulfillment, a word that recontextualizes everything I just described to you over the last few minutes, exposing the true motive behind the enemy's envy. There is a classification in celestial records that describes exactly what you are. The signs that just hit you did not hit by chance. The urge to isolate, the heavy fatigue, the ticking clock at 3 a.m. were recognized. And I say this because I know exactly how this operates. The seal of this hour you are crossing has been seen, not as a coincidence, but as a spiritual marker. Because between being chosen and being covered there is a gap that the envious one knows better than you. And it is in this gap that the enemy operates, not because the anointing was revoked, but because the very next morning when you wake up feeling that urge to quit arrived, and you did not have the exact shield to protect your timeline. And I am telling you this because I have seen it happen. I have seen chosen ones who were exactly sitting on the edge of their beds staring at the floor, ready to give up. I saw the anticipation turn into heavy fatigue. I saw the prophetic promise turn into irrational doubt. I saw the celestial date turn into a feeling of being forgotten, and not because you lacked faith, because the envious one entered right at the 11th hour without anyone noticing. When I use this word, envious one, I am not using a metaphor. I am naming what intercepts your blessing, what sabotages your timeline, and what bleeds out your anticipation. And you already know this. You just hadn't given it a name yet. You feel an exhaustion so heavy that you consider giving up on the very thing you prayed for. You experience sudden, irrational conflicts in your home right as a breakthrough is about to manifest. You look at your life and feel a paralyzing doubt, whispering that you misunderstood God's voice all along. Before I name the shield for this spiritual interception of divine timing, take your thumb to the first pinned comment right down below. Do not click yet. Just let your eyes get there and recognize that it exists. Do that now. It was exactly searching for this answer that I arrived at this digital book called The 7 Spiritual Reasons Why the Chosen Ones Face So Much Envy. And this is not just another book you read and forget. It is the exact tool for this hour, delivered precisely when you need it most. And it was made for you. For those who want to see beyond appearances, to stop aborting their breakthroughs, and to understand the interception of their timing. Do not wait for this silent abortion of your breakthrough to seek what you already feel you need to understand. It is in the first pinned comment, right down below. Tap the link now, secure your copy, and discover why the spiritual interception of divine timing could not stop what God started in you. And if you are one of the first to download, come back here and write Amen. This will be your declared sign of faith, because the envious one does not have legal authority to stop what God has decreed over your very next morning, because this is not about human strength, it is about spiritual architecture. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And this shadow is not a metaphor. It is the exact coverage that shields your celestial date. A chosen one without learning this architecture will face the abortion of their breakthrough. The digital book that is in the first pinned comment was built upon this architecture, and it is what will make you survive the spiritual interception of divine timing. But right now, a voice will tell you that you can wait. Less than a Thursday lunch at the diner that you eat while worrying about tomorrow. Less than a Friday night pizza with the family that gets interrupted by a sudden heavy silence. Less than a Saturday afternoon snack with the kids when your mind is a million miles away waiting for a shift. That is all it takes, because those were choices made for your physical comfort. And here, facing something that can change the fulfillment of your celestial appointment for the next 12 months, you will think twice, not because it is worth less, but because the enemy wants to intercept your timing. This hesitation has a name. It is the spiritual interception of divine timing operating in your mind, and you need to break it now, and it has a 7-day guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it doesn't fit, send an email and get your money back entirely. No questions, no process, no judgment. And this guarantee exists for a reason, especially when what is at stake is the coverage of the very next morning when you wake up feeling that urge to quit. Because we know the weight of this material, and we know that the next time that urge to quit hits you, you must be armed. Several chosen ones here on this channel in the last few weeks have already received this shield, and what reached me were not vague messages of gratitude. They were reports of people who were exactly where you are now. A 45-year-old mother sitting at her kitchen table on a Tuesday night, feeling the exhaustion of a delayed promise, used this tool. She executed the exact sequence of coverage between Tuesday and Wednesday and saw the heavy atmosphere lift instantly. A 30-year-old man, driving alone on a Friday, staring at a phone screen waiting for a shift, felt that same urge to surrender. He applied this shield right in his car that same afternoon, confronting the sabotage operating in his mind, and watched the heavy weight break before his eyes as the delayed news finally arrived. A grandmother dealing with sudden conflicts at home on a Sunday morning thought her family was falling apart. She declared these specific words over her living room, and the peace was restored immediately. It is not magic. It is the right shield in the right hand at the right time. And while these people cover their appointed time tonight, your calendar keeps running at the same pace theirs ran before they understood. Maybe 3 hours from now, you will sit heavily on the edge of your bed, without knowing the name of the enemy, without knowing the tactic used against you, without knowing how to defend your timeline. Each morning without this understanding is an intercepted blessing. Each week, without knowing the name of what is, Moed is an advance of the enemy against your dates. Each month, without the 7 reasons of the chosen, is this silent abortion of your breakthrough taking form. And your family does not notice either, and your children do not notice either. And this silent abortion of your breakthrough keeps arriving, with the same smile, sitting in the same chair, leaving through the same door. And before I give you the next word that is still coming right now, because it is still coming and it carries weight, beyond our digital guide, Chosen One, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived at your house today, and to make it reach more and more chosen ones like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to. This is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another person who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I will see you there once again, Chosen One. But do not leave now, because this is not a coincidence. This is a spiritual confrontation. It is the exact name of what is happening to you right now, a word that came from ancient Hebrew and crossed 3,000 years to find you on this exact night. And you cannot afford to ignore it. Stay. I told you there was a word that crossed 3,000 years to find you tonight. This word is moed. Listen to the weight of it. Moed. It is an ancient Hebrew classification that does not just mean time, but an appointed time. An exact, fixed celestial appointment. When the heavens decree a mode over your life, it is not a possibility or a maybe. It is a scheduled reality. A date written on the celestial calendar that heaven is already moving to fulfill. The enemy's envy is not aimed at your current state, but at your moed. He is terrified of the specific date that is arriving this week. Because the enemy cannot erase the date written in heaven, he attacks the chosen one's endurance. He operates through the spiritual interception of divine timing. He aims to create exhaustion, doubt, and isolation precisely in the week the decree is set to manifest. He wants you to drop the blessing at the doorstep. This is why the heavy, unexplainable fatigue hits you in the middle of a mundane afternoon. This is why you feel the sudden urge to cancel plans and isolate yourself in your bedroom. The saboteur is trying to exhaust the timekeeper of the decree before the moed arrives. He wants to make you believe that the delay is a denial, but what you are experiencing is not the absence of God. It is the friction of overlapping timelines. God's decree is clashing with the enemy's delay. The moed is approaching, and the spiritual atmosphere is reacting violently because a massive shift is about to be delivered into your hands. Imagine you are sitting in an airport terminal. You are holding a boarding pass in your hands, and printed on it is an exact departure time. You are simply waiting for the gate to open. You are positioned, you are ready, and your flight is guaranteed. Suddenly someone sits next to you and starts whispering. They tell you that the flight is cancelled. They tell you that your ticket is fake, that the gate will never open. They speak with such a heavy, draining persistence that you become incredibly exhausted. Without realizing it, you fall asleep right there in the waiting room. When the gate finally opens, you miss the flight. You do not miss it because the plane did not arrive or because the ticket was invalid. You miss it because you were put to sleep by the saboteur right before your transition. This is exactly what the envious one is doing to you this week. He is trying to put you to sleep in the terminal of your appointed time. Joseph of Egypt was the most envied and the most elevated man in the Old Testament. And this is not a history book title. It is a biblical record signed by God himself. Joseph was the ultimate archetype of someone who had a moed, a date written in heaven, yet faced the most aggressive sabotage right before the transition. He dreamed while he was still a child. A decree of elevation was spoken over him, and his brothers envied him in silence. He was sold by the very people who should have protected him, thrown into a pit, and carried to Egypt as merchandise. But this was not random cruelty. It was the enemy's early attempt to intercept his timeline and abort his celestial appointment. Even in exile, the envy followed him. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison, spending years without guilt. The enemy tried to exhaust Joseph out of his prophetic timeline, trying to make him surrender his anticipation in the dark. The saboteur wanted the heavy waiting to blindfold his spiritual sight and make him forget the decree. But Joseph understood his moed. When the appointed time arrived, he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh and was instantly elevated to second in command. He was given the practical wisdom to manage 7 years of abundance and 7 years of famine. The interception failed because Joseph did not let the 11th hour sabotage put him to sleep in the waiting room. Jesus cited him as a type of the Messiah, rejected by his own. Joseph's elevation was the exact mechanism that ultimately saved the very envious brothers who tried to destroy him, and he did not take this wisdom to the grave. He left it recorded with a surgical precision that crossed 3,800 years without losing its edge. The man who was sold out of envy left the map for those who are envied today. And this map is exactly what you are about to receive in the form of an instrument. The secret place of the Most High is not just a place of comfort, it is the control room of your moed. Abiding under the shadow of the Almighty means stepping into a perimeter where the 11th hour sabotage cannot touch your mind, where the ticking clock at 3 a.m. loses its power, and where your endurance is supernaturally restored. But to fully establish this shield over your timeline, you need to understand the mechanism behind the attack. The truth about why this silent abortion of your breakthrough keeps arriving is heavier than you think. And the most profound truth is still to come, and it has your name on it. Let me pause for 1 full minute and put everything you just heard into simple words. No poetry, no metaphors, just the facts. The intense fatigue hitting you in the middle of a mundane afternoon is not a medical mystery. It is a calculated drain on your endurance. That sudden urge to cancel your plans is not introversion. It is a tactic to pull you away from your breakthrough. The irrational friction at your dinner table is an orchestrated distraction, and that ticking clock at 3 a.m. is the sound of the enemy trying to blindfold your spiritual sight. This is an 11th hour ambush. And here is who you are inside all of this. You are the one holding the boarding pass in the terminal. You are carrying a specific date written in heaven, and because the saboteur cannot cancel the flight, he is trying to put you to sleep in the waiting room. You are simply the target of a spiritual interception because your time is scheduled to manifest. Now what comes next is the understanding of the exact roles being played, because if you do not know what you carry, you will not know how to defend it. The first is the timekeeper of the decree. This is the one whose life is governed by a celestial calendar rather than earthly logic. You do not just move through days, you walk toward precise scheduled appointments written by the hand of God long before you were born. The spiritual implication of carrying this title is that your victories are never accidental, but neither are your battles. Because your timeline is decreed in heaven, the friction you face is directly proportional to the magnitude of the shift that is about to happen. You attract resistance simply because your alarm clock is about to ring. The second is the saboteur of the 11th hour. This is the unseen, envious force that cannot rewrite the decree, so it attacks the timekeeper. It operates in the shadows, whispering lies in the waiting room, weaponizing fatigue, and orchestrating irrational conflicts right before the gate opens. The danger of this saboteur is that his attacks rarely look supernatural at first glance. He hides behind mundane excuses, stress, anxiety, or bad luck, aiming to bleed out your anticipation so slowly that you voluntarily surrender your blessing right at the doorstep of your celestial appointment. The third is the unsuspecting bystander. These are the people in your own house, the friends and family members who absorb the heavy atmosphere without understanding the spiritual warfare taking place. They are the ones sitting at the dinner table during that sudden, irrational argument, reacting to the tension without seeing the arrows. The tragedy of the unsuspecting bystander is that they often become unintentional instruments of the sabotage. Because they do not see the spiritual interception of your divine timing, they might offer reasonable advice that inadvertently encourages you to step back, isolate yourself, or quit exactly when you need to stand firm. If you have ever felt the weight of being the timekeeper of the decree, if you have recognized the tactics of the saboteur trying to put you to sleep in the waiting room, and if you are tired of watching the unsuspecting bystanders in your life absorb the crossfire of a battle they cannot see, then leave a comment right now saying, "I am taking back my timeline." This declaration is your way of drawing a line in the sand, notifying the spiritual realm that the sabotage ends today. After you declare that, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. This is how you ensure that the next time the enemy tries to blindfold your spiritual sight, you will already be armed with the exact word you need to break his hold. I am going to deliver to you right now the 3-minute shield of the Moed. This is an actionable protocol of defense that you must execute the very next morning when you wake up, feeling that heavy, unexplainable urge to quit just days before your celestial date arrives. You do not need an hour of prayer. You just need 3 minutes of precise spiritual authority. Step 1. Before your feet even touch the floor, do not check your phone or look at the time. Speak out loud. My Moed is written and my timeline is sealed. Step 2. Visualize that heavy, irrational fatigue as a physical blanket and literally act out throwing it off your shoulders. Step 3. Command the atmosphere of your bedroom, stating that no 11th hour sabotage has legal entry into your day. The moment you finish these 3 steps, you will feel a sharp, physical lightness in your chest, as if a literal weight has been lifted off your lungs. That sudden clarity and the return of your anticipation is your sensorial confirmation that the spiritual interception has been broken and your timeline is secured. And this tool I've just placed in your hands, it's a door. But there is a massive difference between opening a door and inhabiting the entire house. What you just received covers the very next morning when you wake up, feeling that urge to quit. A punctual coverage. But what is in the first pinned comment covers the 7 reasons why the spiritual interception of divine timing chose you as a target. Not randomly, not because of your failure, but because something specific in you activated the Moed over your celestial timeline. It shows the 3 patterns he uses to reach your appointed date, and it gives you the complete ritual of coverage that you execute before every morning you feel the urge to quit for the next 12 months. You have just been declared the timekeeper of the decree. But the timekeeper of the decree without a complete shield is a passenger put to sleep in the waiting room right as the gate opens. The seal you receive now is real. What is in the first pinned comment is what transforms this seal into an armor. And while you hear this, someone like you has already opened the link and is on the 3rd reason. I'm not rushing you. I'm telling you that the link is still there, exactly where you expected to find it, waiting for the same decision you are making now. But before you decide, I need to show you what the envious one will try to do against this tool in the next 72 hours. The moment you start operating in what you just received, and this will happen in the next 72 hours, 3 specific things will be launched against you. The unseen saboteur will not simply watch you establish a perimeter of spiritual authority over your timeline without a fierce fight. He will attempt to break the seal before it fully sets over your mind and your home. And he will use 3 highly predictable strikes to try and put you back to sleep in the waiting room just before your flight is called. The first strike is the "it's just a coincidence" doubt bomb. This usually hits right after you finish your defense, whispering that the sudden urge to cancel plans or the heavy fatigue is just a physical issue, and this spiritual interception is an exaggeration. The goal is to make you feel foolish for taking authority over your timeline, hoping you drop your guard and let the sabotage resume. Your weapon against this is immediate, loud, verbal alignment. The moment that doubt drops into your mind, you must literally stand up, raise your right hand, and declare out loud into the empty room, "I do not negotiate my Moed, and my timeline belongs to the Lord." This symbolic action breaks the paralysis. Then you anchor it. "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." The second strike is the distraction crisis before the ritual. Just as you are about to secure your perimeter the very next morning when you wake up feeling that urge to quit, something urgent but completely irrelevant will explode in your house. A sudden argument over nothing, a spilled coffee, or a frantic phone call. The enemy wants to consume your first 3 minutes so you forget the shield. Your weapon here is radical, unapologetic pause. When the crisis erupts, before you clean the spill or answer the text, you physically stop, close your eyes, and take 10 seconds to decree your timeline is sealed. Let the coffee sit. Let the phone ring. By prioritizing the spiritual coverage over the earthly crisis, You force the atmosphere of your house to submit to the celestial calendar. The third strike is the isolation of the one who sees too much. As your spiritual sight clears, you will look at the unsuspecting bystanders in your family and feel an overwhelming loneliness. The saboteur will whisper that you are carrying this burden entirely alone, trying to use your love for them to manufacture that heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon. Your weapon against this is the awareness of the ranks. You must actively remember that you are not isolated. You are simply the first one in your household to wake up in the terminal. Other chosen ones right now are defending their families from the same silent abortion of their breakthrough. Your specific action is to stop trying to explain the warfare to those who are still asleep and simply cover them in silence. And about this isolation you recognized as real. I need to tell you one thing now. There are 4 more tactics besides these 3. I cannot open them all here, not for lack of time, for density. Each one needs its own page, with the exact counter-weapon, with the specific verbal declaration that neutralizes the attack the instant it arrives. And while I do not deliver these 4 tactics here, the spiritual interception of divine timing knows them all. All of this is mapped inside more. The 7 spiritual reasons why the chosen ones face so much envy. Along with the exact sequence of coverage applied to the celestial dates God has for you. You will need this, not tomorrow. You will need this tonight when the exhaustion tries to dissolve your anticipation. You will need this tomorrow morning when the enemy tries to make the memory of this message lose its color. And you will need this the next time you wake up, feeling that heavy, unexplainable urge to quit. The link remains in the first pinned comment. I am not rushing you. I am warning you that the second day is harder than the first, and the spiritual interception of divine timing knows this better than you. But before you even think about clicking, I need to show you what you yourself will do against yourself in the next 72 hours. Because the worst obstacle is not the envious one. It's the voice you confuse with your own. This obstacle is the fear of seeming ungrateful. It operates violently in your mind. Because God has done so much, a voice whispers that wanting to secure your upcoming date is arrogant. It tells you to just be thankful and accept the heavy fatigue. It sounds pious, framing your exhaustion as a test of humility you must endure silently. But this is a complete inversion of reality. Enduring an 11th-hour sabotage trying to cancel your celestial appointment is not humility. It is negligence. You are not ungrateful for protecting your timeline or refusing to let the enemy bleed out your anticipation. Defending what God wrote is the highest form of gratitude. Your specific defense is to confront this voice. When it calls you ungrateful, answer back, God did not bring me this far to put me to sleep in the waiting room. Recognize that the fear of seeming ungrateful is just the saboteur wearing a religious mask, trying to make you drop the blessing. And there is one last thing, the one that worries me the most, that I am going to do with you before this message closes. It is the final layer of this covering, a specific alignment over your house that cannot be left undone today, because the envious one is counting exactly on you walking away without it. I want you to physically stop whatever you are doing right now. If it is safe to do so, close your eyes and place your right hand firmly over your chest. I am not asking you to do this as a religious ritual, but to anchor your mind back into your body. Feel the rhythm of your breathing. For the last few days, your lungs have felt heavy, carrying the weight of a spiritual atmosphere you did not ask to enter. Take a deep breath and hold it for a second. Now exhale slowly. As you release that air, I want you to visualize that heavy, unexplainable fatigue in the middle of a mundane afternoon leaving your physical perimeter. You are stepping out of the waiting room where the saboteur tried to put you to sleep. You are entering the secret place of the Most High, aligning your posture with the precise celestial calendar that governs your timeline. We declare today that you are completely released from the paralyzing fear of seeming ungrateful, breaking the lie that wanting to secure your upcoming date is arrogant. We shatter the false humility that demands you to diminish your own scheduled victory just to comfort the mediocrity of those around you. We sever the religious manipulation that asks you to endure the 11th hour sabotage in silence, framing your heavy exhaustion as a test you must quietly accept. We break the heavy pattern of arriving at your own home every day and instantly unloading the weight of unseen battles onto your dinner table. We declare the end of that version of you that accepted absorbing the arrows of sudden irrational conflicts just to keep the peace. You are released from the false loyalty that forces you to bleed out your anticipation right before your breakthrough, carrying a burden that heaven never asked you to bear. We nullify the voices of disqualification that whisper in your ear while you stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m. We silence the saboteur that tries to blindfold your spiritual sight, making you believe that your delay is a permanent denial. We declare that the shame you feel over your heavy fatigue is broken right now because your exhaustion is not a failure of faith. It is the friction of a highly contested celestial appointment. We release you from the exhausting comparison with the unsuspecting bystanders who walk through life without facing this intense spiritual interception. We break the lie that you are fighting this battle alone, and we dismantle the heavy expectation that you must constantly explain your spiritual warfare to those who cannot see the overlapping timelines. We declare that you are free to protect your gate without apologizing for the armor you wear. We declare the activation of the timekeeper of the decree over your life right now. We call forth the authority that understands the exact architecture of time, the one who refuses to be put to sleep in the terminal while holding a boarding pass with a fixed departure time. We receive the supernatural endurance required to stand your ground against the enemy's interference, securing your perimeter until the exact celestial date is delivered into your hands. We declare that the perimeter around your house is completely sealed against the sabotage of the 11th hour. We establish a mandate of peace over your dinner table and over the minds of your children. We receive the tactical shield of the Almighty, intercepting every arrow of confusion, every sudden urge to cancel plans, and every irrational conflict before it can even cross the threshold of your front door. We enter into the exact schedule that was written in heaven for you before you were even born. We declare that the Moed is no longer a distant promise, but an active, breathing reality manifesting this very week. We receive the sharp, physical lightness in your chest as the definitive confirmation that the spiritual interception has been broken and your timeline is fully secured under the shadow of the Almighty. With your eyes still closed and your hand still firmly pressed against your chest, I want you to declare these words out loud into the room you are in. Do not whisper them. Let the atmosphere of your house hear your voice. Say, I take back my timeline and I silence the saboteur. My celestial appointment is sealed. The moment you speak this, a shift occurs in the spiritual realm, stripping the enemy of his legal right to intercept your breakthrough. You are no longer the exhausted passenger asleep in the terminal. You are awake, you are armed, and you are watching the gate of your Moed open with absolute clarity. The heavy waiting has lost its grip and the sabotage has been dismantled right before the clock strikes. The celestial calendar is moving in your favor, and the exact date written for you in heaven is finally arriving. But don't say amen yet. We are not done here. The decree is established, but there is one final layer of this covering that must be secured before you face tomorrow morning. Sit in this for a moment. Feel the weight of what just happened. Stay. We establish a definitive cover over your dinner table, over every meal you share, and over the meetings with the people closest to you. We declare that the sudden irrational conflicts designed to steal your peace right when a breakthrough is about to manifest are intercepted at the root. The atmosphere of your home is now a sanctuary of the Moed, completely immune to the heavy sighs and the unspoken tension that the saboteur tries to seed among those you love. We establish a relentless shield over your children, over your spouse, and over the physical perimeter of your house. We declare that they will no longer be unsuspecting bystanders, absorbing the crossfire of the spiritual interception of your divine timing. Every arrow aimed at their emotional stability is broken. Your home will not reflect the heavy, unexplainable fatigue of the waiting room, but the unshakable certainty of a family whose timeline is entirely governed by the calendar of the Almighty. We establish an absolute perimeter of authority over your work, over your ongoing achievements, and over every opportunity currently in motion. We decree that no 11th hour sabotage will bleed out your anticipation or unravel what you have fought for. The sudden urge to cancel plans and step back will no longer paralyze your progress. Your professional life and your hands are shielded against the delay, securing your path until the exact celestial appointment is delivered directly into your hands. I see you. I have always seen you. I saw you sitting heavily on the edge of your bed last Tuesday afternoon, staring at the floor with your shoes still on, feeling an irrational urge to simply surrender. I watched the heavy fatigue press against your shoulders while you tried to find the strength just to stand up and face the rest of the day. You thought you were failing in endurance, but I was there, measuring the immense weight of the interception you were carrying in silence. I saw you in your car on Thursday evening, gripping the steering wheel while parked in the driveway, letting out a heavy sigh before walking through your own front door. I saw you battling the sudden urge to isolate yourself, dreading the irrational conflict you felt brewing inside the house. You thought your family was fracturing and your peace was permanently lost. But I was sitting right beside you, witnessing the saboteur trying to weaponize your sanctuary against your scheduled breakthrough. I saw you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. just nights ago, listening to the sound of the clock ticking while your mind raced with scenarios of delay and failure. I saw you physically turning over, trying to escape the whisper that you misunderstood my voice all along. You thought your spiritual sight was permanently blindfolded by the dark, but I was standing in your room, watching you fight to keep your anticipation alive, while the enemy desperately tried to put you to sleep. We break the "it's just a coincidence" doubt bomb before it even arrives at your mind. We dismantle the distraction crisis before it is launched against the ritual of your morning. We dissolve the isolation of the one who sees too much before it forms a wall around this house. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are no longer the exhausted passenger waiting in the terminal. You are the timekeeper of the decree. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. The spiritual interception of your divine timing is broken. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Don't say amen yet. Sit in this for a moment. Do not rush to the next thing. Feel the weight of what just happened over your timeline. The decree has been sealed and the moed is firmly established in your hands. Now, you may say amen. I saw you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. just nights ago, listening to the sound of the clock ticking. Don't open your eyes yet. Keep your hands on your chest. The seal is fresh, and it is exactly now that the envious one will try the first strike. What was sealed here now will be tested the very next morning, when you wake up feeling that urge to quit. When the fatigue hits, when the doubt whispers, when the conflict starts. The envious one does not accept without a fight what was just decreed over you, and whoever was commissioned without coverage walks in the open field. The anointing was confirmed in heaven. Now it needs to survive the very next morning. The 7 spiritual reasons why the chosen ones face so much envy is in the first pinned comment, right down below, not as a substitute for what you received in this message, as a companion to defend what was sealed, because anointing without coverage rots the very next morning, when you wake up feeling that urge to quit, and the envious one counts exactly on that morning. Less than a coffee and a bagel on the way to work, bought just to stay awake through the spiritual fatigue. Less than an ice cream cone in the afternoon to distract yourself from the heavy waiting. With a 7-day guarantee, the risk is ours. The hand is yours. Click now, while the decree is still alive in your chest. Not tomorrow, not after the shower, not after talking to someone, because the first person you'll talk to will have a reasonable opinion that will cost the shield of your house, because whoever leaves it for later leaves it for never, and the envious one already knows this. He counted on later when you received the last message that transformed you, and the one before, and the one before that. This one won't be another one. This voice whispering, "Decide tomorrow," is not yours. It sounds like yours, but it's the saboteur trying to recover ground before the very next morning you feel the urge to quit. Every second that voice gains is a second the decree loses temperature. Click before the envious one speaks louder than the decree that has just been sealed over your head. And now, the final word. You now understand the spiritual interception of your divine timing and how the saboteur tries to exhaust you in the waiting room. But there is a deeper layer to the envy that operates specifically against the financial and relational gates of the chosen ones, trying to block the manifestation of their moed. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now, and still in this video, Chosen One, before I seal this hour with you, I need to remind you of something that keeps this channel standing. Beyond the digital guide, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived at your house today and to make it reach more chosen ones who are facing the exact same heavy fatigue. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to, this is what makes the next message reach another person who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. This was my last request. I'll see you there, Chosen One. I sign this with my name. I say a loud yes to the covering that was established over your home and over your timeline. I declare amen with all the intention of my spirit, cementing this mandate against the 11th hour sabotage so that the enemy can no longer put you to sleep right before your gate opens. Your celestial date is shielded, and the heavy, unexplainable fatigue is permanently broken. There is someone who needs exactly the same shield you received here today, someone who is also facing the spiritual interception of their divine timing and dealing with sudden irrational conflicts in their home. Send this message to them right now, and if they want to go further, the link for the 7 Reasons of the Chosen is in the first pinned comment, waiting the same way it waited for you. It is not a favor from you, it is a service, and heaven sees. It is done. What was delivered here was delivered. You are not the same person you were when you pressed play. The waiting room no longer holds you captive, and the moed is rushing toward your hands. Feel this gravity for one more moment. The very next morning when you wake up feeling that urge to quit can wait another 10 seconds.